Alrighty, Non-Western Philosophy Week 11. This is going to be the lesson critical summary, and we are going to start with Weijing. So from here, we're going to go to the 3 sovereigns and the 5 emperors. I'm just going to elaborate off the PowerPoint. So the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors were the mythical rulers of China from the early BC. They were demigods who introduced the important aspect of the Chinese culture, and this is kind of where we do see a little bit of difference in Chinese culture and Asian and Western and all of that. This is where we see the introduction of legendary, morally perfect sage kings. So the Yellow Emperor is the most important of the sage kings. He is portrayed as the originator of the centralized state and Han culture, basically driving the whole idea of China and Chinese culture. So the Xia dynasty was the period which Yu was the Great. He is said to have dammed the Yellow River. He's kind of a legend of archaeological discovery in the culture of China. Now this takes us into the Shang dynasty as the first confirmed historical Chinese dynasty, and it wrote the first major record of Chinese characters. So from there you move into the Zhao dynasty. This introduced the notion of the mandate of heaven, that the king reigned as the direct representative of the gods, and that he listened to the gods, and basically this is where we see Dainism arise with philosophy. So during the spring and the autumn period, the Zhao kings were reduced to little more than a figurehead. So the warring states period is power in the hands of the warlords. And the victor of the warring states was Qin. He was the Qin Shi Shang. And he unified China and established a dynasty in BC. And that's where the name China comes from, is from Qin. And that kind of begins Imperial China. And then we hear about the Han Dynasty quite a bit. This is something that we hear more about in history. This is where China became a fully functioning state. Commerce flourished with the creation of the Silk Road. The population reached about 50 million.